I do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the Beach Committee meeting of October 20th. First item is the minutes of September 22nd.
I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
Motion by Leon to approve minutes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Underwood. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Okay.
So, Highway Department will look into the price of the sign for us.
Yeah, we're gonna get a price for the sign. I don't know what all the specs should be. I know they have vendors that are approved by the state, so we don't have to go out and do an RFP and do all that other stuff.
that's
So
good, yeah.
so it's easier doing that than.
Because the signs that I see around here, they all seem to be about the same.
Yeah, that one was, I think it was very effective and it worked pretty well. As well, it wasn't as bad as in previous years, what was going on down there, so. I don't know if that makes any difference. Okay, budget items. I think we all have a printout of the budget in front of us. I was kind of surprised that we left $16,000 on the table for the lifeguards. Which I was more really concerned about that, only because we had given them
Oh,
a
yeah.
substantial raise. And this is as of, when was this printed? 10/4. So there's no more lifeguard charges, I would expect, so. But I don't know why it's so low. It seems like something's not right, but.
Well, would that be confused with the line item professional service?
No, I mean, there's a little bit of overtime, that was Evan. Vehicle repair and maintenance. We usually take money out of that, and I know Chris Gonzalez at the highway department, and we thank him for his work at the beach and everything he did to get the truck at the beach, to and from the beach. But that truck has seen its last day, so we're gonna move on from it.
Are we gonna go on with those small vehicles?
Yeah,
We're gonna go
yeah,
with
yeah, we're gonna go with the Gator, or whatever you wanna call it. I don't, do you know about that? Yeah, so the plan, I think, Perry, is, we discussed it earlier in the summer, because the trucks, a four-wheel drive truck, we go through them like nothing
Sure.
down there between the sand and the salt.
Yeah.
The whole undercarriage brake line, we're constantly fixing
Absolutely.
brakes, brake lines and everything. So, to buy a used four-wheel drive truck is exorbitant, never mind a new four-wheel drive truck, it's not worth buying a new one for down there. So we're thinking of getting a Gator and a storage trailer to put next to the dumpster down there to store it in. So there'd be a vehicle that can get up and down the beach, it's made to get up and down the beach as opposed to,
Makes sense. I think the
And,
state
you know,
has it.
and then it can also store the equipment in the, basically get a Voltran storage container and
Yeah.
stick it right there, at the end of the road.
Do they have those gators specifically for salt watery areas?
They have them, they're made for dunes and things like that,
Okay,
so,
yeah.
you know, I
That's
think
kinda what
they'll,
I'm asking.
a brand new one costs $18,000. We can not even gonna find a used car for $18,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, it seems like it's worth a try to see how many years we get out of it.
Sounds like a great
We
idea.
we appropriated $40,000 in money for that and the storage thing. It's $230 a month for the storage, the little containers, which is
Well, it's,
nothing. That's nothing basically for 4 months out of the year. You know, it's gonna cost $1,000. So rather than build one or have a permanent one, it's probably easier just to have them drop it and kind of like the dumpster, drop it in the spring and pick it up in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
that's for the season or a month?
$230 a month,
Okay, so
which is pretty,
4 or 5 a year.
yeah, it's, I couldn't believe it was, that's for a 20-footer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's plenty big enough for the Gator and the equipment, so. So, we didn't use any of the vehicle maintenance, so that we should talk to about, you know, transferring possibly that to the highway department since they did all the maintenance. Professional services, we budgeted $9,000. We seem to have spent an awful lot of money.
Well, that was the budget. What's the actual?
The actual was, you expended,
What's the 10,000?
that was encumbered from the previous year that we weren't aware of, I think. And the 7,000 was what this year was, so,
Spent was 7, so it budgeted 10, it spent,
Six.
budgeted 9.
and spent
spent
17. Yeah, so if you look at the
Oh,
percentage,
wait, no, we spent 7.
7,
no, we spent 17.
Where?
no.
I don't see that.
Well, the encumbered expense,
Yeah.
Oh, we spent the encumbered and 7,000
Oh,
the
more.
encumbered expense was because the
10,000.
dumpster was left there over the winter. So that was encumbered plus the 7, so we spent 17, so you'll see there's an unencumbered balance of $8,000, where we spent pretty much 200% of what we actually budgeted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Which, I don't know why it's so high, but it must have been, I'm thinking maybe because the dumpster was there all winter.
we sure
So
can't
we
do
get-
that again, because we'd have nothing to encumber when we're in the hole.
Yeah, well, the good news is that at the end of the day, we could transfer money. We could take the $8,000 out of $16,000 of the personnel items at town meeting and pay it off, so it's not a big deal. But it's something to think about, but we're not gonna keep the dumpster there all winter this year.
Hmm.
Oh, God, no.
How come it didn't get removed?
Well,
Denise does
originally,
that.
it took them forever, before they were gonna remove it, because they didn't have help to come down and remove it.
Oh,
And I don't know how that's our problem. And then it got to a point where it was already January, so it was like,
forget about it.
and it was probably a good idea because people were still putting beach trash in it and stuff, so I thought, but if it's gonna cost us 10 grand a year,
Oof.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't think it cost that much.
Well, it cost us.
That was
Well,
the-
I mean, if they do it every month, that's 9 months instead, that's,
They enter it once a month.
yeah, but if they just, but even just having it there costs so
Yeah, you
much.
pay some kind of fee for having the dumpster, and I don't know what that is, I gotta ask Nicole, because I didn't
That's
realize.
like, you know, 3 times what, you know, for
But there
just
might
the
be-
summer.
There might be some other professional services in here that I'm not aware of.
Mhm.
You know, maybe it might not be just the dumpster, so I gotta figure that out, and I'll call Nicole and figure that out eventually. Moving down, the next big item is the gas expenditure. I don't know why that's so high. I know gas was expensive, but I don't think they spent
Wow.
$17,000, and
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
so I'm kinda confused to where those, what got put into those expenses, unless the repair from the highway department got put into that. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna have to look and see and check on that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But we're still under, we budgeted 30. We still have the 23,000 for the fencing that we haven't spent yet. And basically, so, you know, we had budgeted 80,000, we spent 56. So we're 23 up.
Mhm.
We're kind of lucky that I was really worried about the lifeguards because of the raise, but apparently we did okay there.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we ever offer bonuses to the lifeguards?
No, we don't.
If there's more money?
We haven't, let's put it that
Well,
way.
I mean, if,
I think the state does it.
State gives you $500 if you stay till Labor Day.
yeah, all the, I mean, the club employees and, you know, where Spin the Rock get like a 10% bonus.
I don't know how they do that.
Unless they really mess up.
Yeah. I'm not sure how you do that through government though.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not quite sure.
Well, just,
And I mean, the question is,
Just a thought.
it comes down, one of the bigger problems was half the lifeguards leave in the middle of August because they have to go back to school or whatever. 'Cause, you know, in the olden days when school used to start after Labor Day, as
Yeah.
opposed to 2 weeks before Labor Day.
How much do they make an hour?
21. So if you look at it, there's
that
a
went up from, what,
16, 16 or something, yeah, it was like,
year?
well, I think the head lifeguard made 16 and the lifeguards made 15.50 or something like that. It was not a lot of money. So, thinking about it, the only reason I wanted to go over it, and I have to check on these 2 items because I'm not sure why we're so high on some things. So,
Capital improvement, what is our capital improvement?
that's our fencing. That was the money we appropriated. That was the original price we got from the fencing, and
Okay.
then that was for 600 feet of fence.
Is
Now we
it
can
like-
only get, now we
No.
can only get 300 feet of fence.
I was just gonna ask.
And I'm really
how
worried,
much-
and, you know, and I'm supposed to, we have to write up an RFP to get 3 bids on it. And I'll be interested to see what that costs now.
Yeah,
That was at the beginning of the summer. Between steel and labor, we have to pay prevailing wage. That's one of the reasons we can only put half of.
we absolutely have to pay prevailing rate.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So that's the killer of why we're getting half as much fence as what we originally thought. I have to thank Chris Gonzalez for repairing the fence that was there and did a heck of a job putting in some temporary posts and everything. Everybody was happy about it. The neighbors were happy. Although there's still some problems with some people crossing over, but at least it's standing
You
up.
can't control stupid.
And Chris did a heck of a job on the parking lots and everything. Got plenty of compliments on that and stuff. So kudos to the highway department for getting stuff done. So it's something to think about. We have to have a budget in, I believe, at the end of December. We're not meeting in December. We typically don't meet in December. So the next meeting will be any thoughts, any items you may want to wish. We have $100,000+ in the enterprise fund to buy capital improvements and or other things. We may have to appropriate more fencing, but we do have some money to do some things. The Committee on Disabilities were requesting a picnic table that is wheelchair accessible on the kiddie beach. They run about, those concrete tables run about $800 a piece.
Sure.
And basically what it is, it's a little higher table that you can get the wheelchair under, and then it's missing seats on 2 sides, so you can just pull right in. I think it's a good idea, since we have the Moby mats were a big hit, not just with the handicap, but with people with little kids, because it was easy to walk on to get to and from the water.
Do you need a motion for that, or
If you'd like, we can, because we need to
can
we need to put a line
start
item on
working on
the town meeting to take
Yeah.
the money out of the enterprise fund, to put it into the,
Yeah, so I'll make a motion, let's get that going.
okay, motion by Leon to purchase cat table. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Perry will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Perfect. Oh, I should say that we are missing a member tonight because
See?
Paula Brown became grandmother today. Her daughter had a little baby boy,
Terrific.
so we congratulate her
Yes, we do.
and them and hope everybody's doing well. So, you know, congratulations to them. So that's the budget part. Okay, next item, talking about any policies. Anybody come up with any policies? We only have one more meeting to strike, so to speak, while the iron's hot. And any ideas about the town clerks? I'll throw that open for discussion. I know Perry did some research into,
Yeah, it seems like, I know you guys have been at this a long time, so maybe I'm just,
what things, I think it's a matter of finding the right fit,
sure.
or the best
Yeah.
fit, maybe, even.
I inquired with a couple of software companies, and it seemed like it was upwards of like $25,000 for
We said,
software.
the parking pass committee, or I'm not sure what the exact name was, that I was on with select board member Shauna Schufelt, and Paula was on it, and a couple other people about, you know, how do we consolidate these passes, because we have passes for those landings and passes. There's some way, and we looked into a couple different softwares and everything.
Sure.
It would probably work well with some things that are just general
Mhm.
permits, but not, the beach pass is a problem because of the whole verifying
Yeah.
you're a resident or a taxpayer.
It made me think about the taxpayer aspect of it. Is there software that the tax collector uses that maybe you could just have a box that, you know, beach?
You're not allowed to put any, I believe, you're not allowed to put any, anything but the tax bill in the tax bill.
Okay, yeah, there goes that.
You know,
But for our purposes, do they use software, you know, that,
well, they
You
go
could
to a
integrate.
third party to collect all their monies now, you know, it
Yeah.
goes to Reading, I don't know how that whole works, that
Yeah.
whole clearinghouse thing works.
But I think, yeah, anybody in the real estate business can look up a piece of property and get the name of the taxpayer.
But is it current?
But,
Usually
Well,
it's about a
that's-
year behind, it's usually about a year behind.
Yeah.
That's-
but it won't give you the person's name if it's a trust.
Right, that's the
So
other.
that's the problem.
Well, that's why I think the trust properties, we tried to simplify it by saying you get 2 passes, here you go.
Yeah, but you'd still need to connect it to the name.
Right,
I mean, if they
But-
come in and they've got to know enough to identify the property of the owner of record on your application, I mean, in the event that it's a trust, so that you can verify it. Because the tax records have no, for a trust, would not have the name.
right. One of the bigger problems is actually the trusts that are actually people who are residents. Not so much the trusts that are non-residents, because you're a resident, you know,
But-
but you put your house in a trust for whatever reasons, legal and or financial, and
Yeah, well,
you know, for some kind of protection, but you actually live there. I mean, you are the
yeah, well,
trustee,
our
That's the way it
house-
works,
Our house
yeah.
belongs to our kids in
Yeah.
a trust.
right?
We live there.
Yeah, exactly. You're a resident, you know. I think that's where it gets a little complicated because you have residents in the trust as
And
opposed to the
car,
outside
the
trust.
registration of the car is a name.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
so that's complicated.
Yeah. But it's easier to prove that you're a resident because of that. If you're,
Mhm.
it's when the Connecticut plate or the. So I don't know if anybody's got anything. I know we've brainstormed. We've talked about this every year. We talk about this, how to simplify it. And one of the comments about the whole beach pass process is it's got to be a better way, and I'm not sure.
Well, one thing
There's a lot been talked about.
we can talk about is having hiring someone just for a couple of months to do that.
It would be interesting to see, you know, and I don't know how you tabulate it, but how many hours does the town clerk
Numerous.
visited?
You're talking. Well, let's look at it, 4,400 beach passes.
Yeah. How long does each one?
Well, but
If there's 250 working days, that's nearly 16 a day.
Yeah.
But is there any way that we could hire someone? I mean, even if it's someone, I mean, this could all be done by someone working at home. Yeah, with the
Yeah, but you still,
computers.
you wouldn't be allowed to access some of the databases that you need to access. That's the
Well,
problem.
But if there were,
I wish there were a way to go to a website online and say, bang, boom, here you go. You
Yeah.
know,
That would be the way to go.
that would be the easiest way. You can print it out at home or whatever, or even if you had to get it sent to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many hours and then figure out how much it costs.
mean,
Then you could
I
determine
say
whether or
16 a
not.
day, but you know, basically the last half of the year, there's nobody getting beach passes. So
Yeah.
there are times when there's hundreds a day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's impossible.
You know, it's like, I don't know how much time is spent. That's a lot of time being spent. And now Stella has moved to the treasurer's office. It's a little difficult. So I don't know. Because it's not too far away. January 1st is not that far away to start all over again. So, okay. Having discussed, I guess, those items,
How about security? We're always talking about hiring some
that's something, especially.
retired police or something.
Well, it ties into the whole, are we going to be able to get lifeguards in the coming years? Because it seems harder and harder for numerous reasons to get enough lifeguards to be at the beach.
I thought about that, and I was wondering if we could find out when the next Red Cross lifeguard class is, and then maybe we could send a mailing, maybe to seniors in high school, you know, get people to take the class and
Become a
offer them
lifeguard,
job.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think one of the problems is because there are jobs that pay more
sure.
elsewhere.
It's a pretty great job.
Yeah.
no.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility though, but there
Sure.
are, there are a lot of jobs that pay,
Yeah,
that are more schedule friendly.
yeah.
Because basically when we need them the most on weekends and holidays is when
Yeah.
most people don't want to be working.
I would think $21 is fair an hour. It's just a matter of finding the bodies, you know?
I think it's a matter of finding bodies and responsible bodies. Evan's not coming back. He was a great asset of getting everything coordinated in the spring and everything like that. And it's hard to replace
Yeah,
institutional knowledge and everything along that line.
Now, is there a lifeguard that we had who's gonna take that over?
I don't know, because I don't know, I wouldn't know who's coming back. 'Cause
How do we
basically,
hire that person?
yeah, it's like, it's tough to find the person that wants the responsibility of doing that for an extra 50 cents an hour.
That's something we probably have to do soon, I would imagine, if, somebody's gonna be doing it for summer.
Maybe we want to start early before,
Yeah,
because the state beach has a problem with like getting lifeguards. Down the Cape, they have all kinds of problems. I think it's just the nature of, when I was younger, that was the job to have.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
you
Sure.
couldn't, you had to know somebody to become a lifeguard.
Yeah.
You had to have a connection. Now it's like, I mean, you can walk through the door, they'll take you.
Yeah.
You're standing up, they'll take, in some places.
that's too bad.
But it's something to think about.
Well, the
Okay.
place to start would be the school department.
Yeah,
Ideal job is it's a teacher summer job, is the ideal way to do it.
We had a couple of teachers, but
At least
again,
for the head lifeguard.
the problem with the teachers, come August, but I mean, we should get them till August, but I mean, come August, they have to go back to teaching full
Yeah.
time. And a lot of them like to take a week or two off before they go back to full time, so,
it's
You
gonna be
lose
the
it.
right person.
But at least they'd have it set up.
yeah.
I mean, they've been there since June.
Half my high school teachers were lifeguards at Baker's,
Yeah, yeah. All of Forest Neck when I was there, they were
Yeah.
all teachers.
Yeah. So, okay, haven't gotten to the main items here. Let's see, I'll guess I'll save mine to the end. Member input, Leon,
Everything's done. The Portaleons are
Board
gone,
of
and-
Leon's, we don't have to
Yep.
spray.
and we don't have to spray. So,
What
I
do
think
you,
we only got 2 this year, too.
well, it was so
We didn't-
dry, it was
we
so
didn't-
dry, it was,
Yeah,
it wasn't a big mosquito
Yeah, I
year.
think I killed one mosquito.
Yeah, it wasn't a big mosquito year, I can tell you that. It was not a
I got bit once in my house, and I have it sprayed by them,
fairly active tick year though, but not a big mosquito year. What do you,
Yeah, I
anything?
have nothing new.
Harry?
No, nothing new. Well, the lifeguards, I think it would be interesting to find out, if we could afford a bonus for the lifeguards and even the head lifeguard. I think that would be attractive to whomever took the
Right.
position to say, hey, when you sign on, you get a bonus or you get it at the end of the year, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So if we could determine that.
Well, the only reason for bringing it up would be that if it's in the budget for salaries,
It appears to be.
and we're gonna, and we don't, and we lose it if we don't spend it,
Yeah,
if that's the way it works, then
I think a lot of why we have money left over,
maybe there's
Is-
something we can do.
Yeah.
we were a little short on lifeguards for the whole month of August. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Because the way I figured out, we were just about gonna make it with, the number of hours per week times the salary.
sure.
But we have enough money to open next year. I mean, because we work calendar year as opposed to fiscal year starting in June. So the money that's left here, we gotta use to start open the beach in June.
What would you consider a reasonable bonus?
I don't know.
Well,
Depends what we can
10%
afford.
is
10%?
typical.
Mhm.
You can put some kind of incentive on it, an extra $50
But if
every
it-
week
but
you're
if it
there or
would help
something.
Retain people, it's worth it.
Yeah,
You're there the whole 12 weeks, you get $600, you get $50 a week for every week you stay.
yeah.
There's some kind of incentive to
How much do we have extra in the budget?
16,000. So we hit about 66%, 63%, so we went through 2/3.
Well, what was the total lifeguard?
$29,111 and 88 cents. We had 16,000 left over.
Yeah, so we got.
So we budgeted 45.
And on average, what do they make throughout the summer gross? If you were gonna offer.
A lot of them only work like 20, 25 hours, so making $400 or $500,
Yeah.
per lifeguard.
Sure.
I know Evan was only there like on weekends, part-time, and I know a couple people who were there a little bit more. because they need the money, because it's a summer job.
I would think you'd have to make the bonus attractive in order to,
Yeah, be something to discuss, bonus. I mean, I hate to not have people like having lifeguards there. They feel
Sure.
all safe and secure. I just don't know how we, I don't want to sit there and have one lifeguard there on any given day, because that would be a disaster. That's what I brought up, well, maybe you have a parking lot attendant and a couple of lifeguards or something. Because the lifeguards also, when they know there's lifeguards there, people know behavior.
Sure, yeah.
I really
That's
do
it.
think we should have security, taking some of that burden. I really do.
You can do that. It's just a matter of, coordinating that and making sure, I don't know, it has to be written.
Just that presence would cut down on a lot of,
Yeah, I don't know if it's written into the job description, we have to go to the personnel board or any of that.
yeah, that's true.
Well, I think the big question is whether it should be a uniformed officer or just a person. Because
Well,
the clubs do it both ways.
Yeah,
mean,
I
know
kind of lean towards a uniform because
Yeah,
people
well,
notice.
Yeah.
But it'll be more money.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying
But it's-
an off-duty police officer a lot more to be a detail,
Right.
there's a lot more.
But a
Yeah.
parking lot attendant would get less than a lifeguard.
Could we have the,
Of course, we could issue a badge for that too.
the
Our
state police
conservation,
And
On their
I
horses?
think you just need someone
take a pass through?
with a clipboard.
The state police are really
sit in the
DCR
chair.
police, so
Yeah.
they're not, so they don't get off
And they
the
do
Yeah.
that at,
reservation.
Boathouse
Yeah.
Road has an officer on weekends, a uniform. Elephant Rock has, I think there are 2 parking lots, and there's just some, we call it the babe in the box.
Yeah,
Someone sitting in a chair with an umbrella reading a book,
yeah.
I think that makes,
and that's
Yeah, that would-
probably,
yeah.
that would do it.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's just a matter of hours, whether, and you say that the problem on weekends aren't as bad as the problem after hours. Is that,
As far as people without passes,
yeah,
I had 2 women last night, pitch black, after hours,
yeah.
coming off the beach, no beach passes. And the first thing I said to it, don't you know you need to be, I'm waiting for them. And I wasn't real happy. And I said, don't you know you need a beach pass to be here? I could have locked you in. Well, and their station went, well, it's off season. And that's what you hear at night. Well,
Yeah, right.
it's not, peak hour, so we can come here, right?
no.
Even though the signs everywhere, it doesn't matter, the mindset is, no one's here to check.
but I would think somebody at the gate is only gonna be there during working out,
Well, that has
hours
something to do
of
with it, as long as there's lifeguards, and I think
Yeah.
you get less, because during the day, the police department is very good about patrolling those lots.
Yeah.
It's as soon as 5 o'clock hits, that's when everything goes
Yeah,
south.
But the real problem though is to avoid overcrowding. So if it's after hours and there's no problem with overcrowding in the lot, then, it's annoying, but it's not,
It's not.
It's not just that though, but
It's not gonna-
people who don't have a interest in the game, so to speak, tend to not behave as well, and they don't really care
Yeah,
about,
well, that's
leaving
just-
things behind, or,
I would
whatever.
think that would be more of a, an issue for the police department, right? To go down there in the evening and
Yeah,
just
I wouldn't-
ticket the cars.
During the
and
summer, I mean, there's a million,
Other things.
they gotta
going
be a
on,
million
sure.
other places they have to be. I mean, I don't know how, other than paying them or somebody volunteering and then
Mm.
paying them, they got plenty to do.
Sure.
And most of it is not further south than Point and Westport. They do a good job, and I've seen them there. Yeah, I've seen them
Sure.
cruise by
Yeah,
at
yeah.
night and everything and stuff like that. I mean, it's not that they don't look, but they don't have the ability to take the time to get out of their car, walk out to the beach and take a look and see what's going on at the beach. I mean, they see cars in the lot, they can ticket, but they don't know, they don't have the time to take a half hour to go out to the beach and look around to make sure everybody's behaving or not doing something stupid, so. I wouldn't expect, it's basically, it's a training thing. It's like, as long as people know it gets closed, it gets open, this is what happens, then it tends to be a little better behaved. But 5 o'clock, you can almost watch people show up. And then you have the after dinner crowd at the back 80 in the summer who at 8 o'clock will show up then. I just had dinner, I'm gonna walk the beach now. And even they don't have a sticker and it's closing up.
I
That's
think
the biggest
Woody's
problem.
right, that's more of a nuisance. It's not impacting the beach.
No, it's not like they're behaving badly, but the question is,
Yeah,
you know.
what do you do?
yeah,
Well,
Sure.
ticket.
Yeah,
yeah.
You'll get the point
It's
after
a training
while.
thing. If they know they're gonna get ticketed, they won't even think about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
could
I
be
think
on the
the
side, too.
daytime.
is it not a problem?
well,
Daytime is
but-
more of a parking
But if
smartly.
but if it's a time, if it requires the police to go down, first, if they are limited in the times that they can be there,
Right. Well, they do with the
then it
patrol.
would be better for them to be there in the evenings and then have a parking lot attendant
Hmm.
that we hire there during the day.
Right.
And then the police can spend their, if they have to justify the hours.
Yeah.
then-
One of the good things about the attendant is you don't have people parking stupidly. And
Yeah.
also, if there's somebody in the parking lot, they don't leave the trash bag behind. Like I see when I get down there at 6:30, and you see the bag of trash over here and the bag of trash
But
over
if we're running
there.
a surplus in lifeguard expenditures, then you hire a person just to be in the parking lot
And I
in
think
addition.
Yeah.
it was brought up at the last meeting, I'm not sure by who, but is there a way, I know that we can only give them a ticket for $50, but could we call it a fine for something else and,
You can probably get them
increase
for
the
more
amount?
for being there after hours,
Sure,
but I think the parking, the maximum state is 50.
yeah.
Well, even if we were just consistent, even at that price.
$50.
We're not consistent, we need to be consistent.
Maybe I should talk to Paul Schmidt about changing the law. and maybe-
Well, the law, though,
Yeah.
parking is one thing.
Yeah,
If there were
like
another,
trespassing.
trespassing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A
If you're
gate
there
fee.
after hours, then
Yeah.
it's kind of
Because
like
they're
maybe
not-
you cross a
because
line
it-
somewhere.
I mean, parking can happen on a public street.
Called a,
But that's parking, but going on the beach after hours could be trespassing.
You know, the after hours, you know, even when I go down and I'm down there every evening, and, you know, there usually isn't a lot of stupid things going on. So, and even people who, they know they're parked illegally, and they just, you know, take it in, obviously, you know, the beautiful beach.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to find out if there were an ordinance
Yeah.
for being on town property after hours.
Motion?
Well, we just look into it.
Let's ask,
Yeah.
just ask. I don't know where else, if
Just
there's
so we
any
don't-
other.
We don't want
Yeah.
to drop it.
Well, I had couple people sleeping in the lot when they got locked in this year,
spent the night?
sleeping in the car. You know, didn't do anything. They just didn't want to call the cops. I think they think they
Yeah,
or whatever. I don't know. So they slept in the car. Had nowhere to go the next day. I guess I don't know.
and I think it would make sense to reach out to the school department in terms of a head lifeguard.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't hurt. You know.
But we would need something, formal to give them. like-
Yeah. Well, you have to say this is what the bonus is. This what pay is. This is what you have to do.
Hmm.
You know.
So maybe
feel
if we
like-
can wrap our arms around that, then we could.
Yeah, we got some time to do that, but,
Yeah.
you know, again, that falls into the budgeting. I think we have enough money budgeted. 'Cause typically, last year we upped the salaries, but we pretty much have a standard item, and we might look at the budget and increase it accordingly.
Sure.
We have the money, we have an enterprise fund, so,
And we should use it for these purposes.
right? Well, it's, you know, there are things that we need, like the vehicle and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Over
yeah,
the years,
but-
things come up.
But we
and
still got
The fence.
the extra. And we have enough.
I know there's a light out in the parking lot that I noticed now that it gets dark early. I've called Eversource. I don't know when they're going to get out there to change it. Beach has been pretty quiet. There was a pretty successful, the watershed had scheduled a beach cleanup for, I believe, the 2nd, but it rained really hard that morning. I didn't think anybody showed up. I drove by, so they held it the next week, and I don't know how many people showed up, but I know there was a lot of trash in the dumpster, so thank them for cleaning up. Hasn't been, since we got rid of the barrels and the parking lot gets lot, you don't get a lot of trash on the beach other than the obligatory plastic bottles that
Yeah.
wash up or the balloons and stuff. You don't get the piles of cans and bottles like you used to get. So it's been much better. I don't know, other than that, I don't have anything that outstanding that I'm aware of. Or I actually didn't check the slot, but I don't see anything in the slot, so. Is there any letters to the complaint department about anything?
Oh, I noticed that the notice of the meeting, it looked, just reading it looked like we were gonna meet this morning at 7 in the morning.
Did it really?
Did you see
Yeah,
that? Did
well,
you
I was
catch
I
that?
might have hit the wrong, I might have hit the AM
Well,
instead of the.
I don't think you may not have.
I have that problem with my schedule things on my phone all the time, the AM, PM
Just-
thing,
just,
but I don't think I
We're all
noticed
here,
it.
so,
As long as it's PM, that's,
yeah.
I don't think anybody should be here at 7 AM, but nobody else noticed it, so.
Yeah, it wasn't all that clear.
Yeah. Okay, then seeing that we've done all this fine work, I mean, the next meeting will be the last one for this year, so anything you want to bring to the table, because anything we have to change has to be adopted by January 1st through the Board of Selectmen, because the beach passes start getting issued. We had that problem last year, where halfway through, all of a sudden, let's change the policy. And it's unfair to people who are already doing something one way.
Do we have to actively purchase like the gator and be prepared for the next year?
No, we have the money appropriated,
So we
so,
can buy it at any time?
yes,
Okay, so we don't have to,
I would say buy it in the
Well,
spring.
Sure.
we recommend to the selectmen,
Yeah.
that the selectmen buy it.
Buy it.
Well, we have the money, so they don't, I mean,
Well-
they already approved the purchase last year.
I mean, should
Okay,
we
so
give
that's
them
done.
Yeah, so.
a month that they should accomplish that by
I
before
wonder,
June?
I wonder if there's a month that's better than, I'll ask April, she does all that for the highway department, I'll ask
Yeah.
if there's a month that's more beneficial than others. Imagine towards the end of the year, there
Well,
must be
they
something
need it by
sitting out.
June, right? They have to have it by June.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know if we have to order it, I don't know if it's one of those things that you can't
Well,
find anywhere.
That's kind of
I know
why my
there's a place
point.
over where I work over in Middletown that has them all over the lawn for sale, so I can't believe they did that.
Because there's shortages everywhere,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, I know Roswell's, when he was ordering plumbing fixtures for his house, the builder said, oh, you better, it takes 6 months to get a tub. Well, he called a kid that was in his 5th grade class, Mr. Ardenti Supply.
Yeah, there you go.
And you got tubs in a week.
There's,
Just, you gotta know people.
yeah, well, you try to
Well,
get
this-
shingles, try to get
Yeah.
anything, it's tough. Okay, seeing that we're appear to be done, I'll
Motion,
entertain a
motion.
motion to adjourn.
Please.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.